Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that as life goes on, it may get harder? What? Wait, so you mean to tell me that life gets harder as it goes on? There are road bumps, not to mention, there are also people there to help you? Oh my god! Hurry up and get home before you miss the newest episode of Talking That Nonsense. That's today? Yes, it is. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking That Nonsense. Before we begin, I want to start by making a slight trigger warning. Today we're going to be talking about relationships. Jesus. Today we're going to be talking about relationships and like the good, the bad, the ugly. So if you get squeamish around like abusive relationships and crap like that, I suggest you either A, exit the video, or B, tread lightly. So that's been your formal warning. Then again, my name is Michael, and let's get into it now. How you doing, fellas and female fellers and stupid. Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Talking That Nonsense. I believe we are on episode 6. Never in my wildest of dreams would I think that we would be on episode 6. Honestly, I thought we were going to be stopping around like around episode 5 to 4. But look at us. Thanks to you guys. The only reason why we're still afloat, the only reason why I'm still afloat is because of you guys. You guys' love and support and feedback. Not only do you tell me what you want, but you tell me what you need, you know? And I'm happy to be here to fulfill your guys' orders. So today, we're talking about relationships. The good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Might touch up upon abuse and whatnot, but you're just going to have to wait and see. So, let's just clarify. Like I said, we're talking about relationships. Anything else, everything is going to be within that bubble called relationships. So you have the relationships, and then you got the bubble, and then you have like best friends, and then best friend forever, and then you have all this other crap, and friendships, and yeah, it all goes, it's all within the realm of relationships. First, we're going to talk about different types of relationships. So we're going to talk about signs of a dysfunctional relationship, signs of an abusive relationship, and then signs of drifting. Let's get into drifting. Drifting, think about it for a moment. What do you think drifting means in a relationship or a friendship? Drifting. Not you skirting in your whip. I'm talking about drifting. Drifting is basically when you've been with somebody for either a short or extended period of time where you guys were good friends at one point, and then over time you guys slowly separate and you guys become distant. And it's either one or the other. There's no both. So either you've been with this person and after a while they just slowly drift away from you, and it's not that you guys aren't friends anymore. It's just you guys just don't. The flame that you guys had at one point isn't as strong as it was when you guys started. And the same goes for relationships. Also, we're going to be talking about RTC, the Relationship Trophy Complex. What is the Relationship Trophy Complex? I tried to make the name as pretty self-explanatory, but for a moment it went over my head, so I'm going to explain it to you. The Relationship Trophy Complex is basically somebody treating a relationship as a trophy. And like I said, let me elaborate on that. You get with somebody just because they have something else that you like. You don't get with the person because you like the person. You get with the person because you like what the person puts out. So for example, if a man or a woman, because those roles are interchangeable, but for an example, I'm just going to use a man and a woman. But so if like a woman got together with a man, not because she loved the person, but because he was rich and famous, because he had this and this. Your trophy husband, basically. You know, and then you guys be like, "This is my trophy boyfriend. That's my trophy husband." You know. You're probably like, that doesn't happen. It does happen. We have another word for what that is, but I'll let you guys decide what it truly is called. But for the remainder of the video, it's going to be called RTC, shortened from relationship trophy complex. But yeah, relationships, they're a heck of a thing. I can tell you, relationships are a heck of a thing. I've seen them all, good, bad, ugly, and it's just weird the amount of dedication some people are willing to put in it. Not saying that you're not supposed to put dedication within a relationship, but hey, let me set the foundation for what I mean by that. So let's see, you're in middle school, you're in early middle school, and you're on a rant. You're crying over a boy in middle school. You should be worried about your schoolwork and not some other boy like, my boyfriend dumped me and he cheated. No. And I loved him so. No. You are in middle school, Becky. You do not know what true love is. You don't. At least with another person that isn't your parents or father, or better yet, lack thereof. But when you go into middle school, don't expect to get together with somebody. Don't really have it in your head at all, because what I saw more of in middle school was relationships. Like my year in middle school, Jesus. And I'm making it seem like it was so long ago, which in turn it was. It's like 2017, 2018, 2019, bro. It's been a while. I'm now a junior in high school, and this whole COVID crap didn't make it any bit better. See, there are blanks in my head. There are like blank slides in my head from what school was like. Because literally, I remember the one day. No. We're not getting distracted. But like I said, what I'm basically saying, you don't know what true love is in middle school. You have not fully grasped the concept of what love truly is and what it's all about to be in a relationship. High school. Okay, there you go. You've grown to maturity, but some people have shown that they're still incapable of getting into a relationship, or shouldn't be in a relationship because they're childish. They're just childish. Like, what do I mean by childish? Let me elaborate on that. There's nothing with being overprotective. There really isn't. Your parents can be overprotective. Your friends can be overprotective. But like, if you're overprotective to the point where I don't want you to talk to other guy friends, and you can't do this with this person, and you aren't supposed to post photos of yourself with this person, and you're not allowed to hang out with this person. And what I also hate is when they do that, and then the boyfriend or girlfriend all of a sudden says, you can't do that all of a sudden, It's called being paranoia. But I don't like that. It's garbage. It really is. Those tactics, those techniques, those ethics, whatever you want to call them, those principles, are dog doo-doo, and they do not help anyone. They don't. If anything, it just weakened the relationship a bit. So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being overprotective. It's not, because when you're protective, it's out of concern. Like if my mother says, I don't want you hanging around those people because they're dangerous or they did something, like, okay, that's reasonable. But if your friends are just like, I don't want you hanging out with guys because they're guys, and I don't want you hanging out with these guys because yada yada yada, and I heard yada yada yada, like, it's not called being overprotective at that point. It's called being controlling. It's called being a control freak, and nobody likes a control freak, let alone a freak itself. Emotions. It's a big word in this video. It's going to continue to be a big thing in this video. Heck, that may be the name of the video. Emotions. What are emotions? How do we control emotions? Nobody knows. I've said this in the last 2 videos, I'm pretty sure, and I'll say it again until this channel is done doing what it does best, talking that nonsense. And that is, humans have the possibility of becoming the most powerful creatures on this planet Earth, but it all comes down to emotions. It does. Ask anybody. Ask anybody. Well, literally, emotions play a role in everybody's life to this day. Shame is an emotion. It's literally, the emotions are powerful. Emotions, to an extent, are what keeps this world in the balance it is today. Balance. I say balance with gigantic quotes. But it's emotions, And the one thing I don't like, the one thing I dislike about somebody is the devotion they would sometimes put into playing with other people's emotions. Okay, let me set up an example. Let me tell you an example. Somebody, what do I need to say? You guys know what I mean when somebody else plays with somebody's toying with them. You know what I mean, right? It's disgusting. It doesn't really need that much of an elaboration, but you guys know what it means to either toy or been toyed with emotions. It's just weak. It says a lot about your character. It tells me who you really are in the end. And you're terrible. I've explained, the relationships and their goodness to an extent. Relationships can be good. You're in a relationship because it was somebody that you connect with. You connect, right? Am I wrong? You're in a relationship because you connect with this person. What I have a problem with is people that are in relationships out of pity with somebody. The only reason why I dated him was because I didn't want to be sad and I didn't want to feel like bad. That was terrible. That's terrible. I went into the relationship because I didn't want to hurt his feelings, and I'm really unhappy in it. But he seems to really like it, so I'm going to stay because I don't want to hurt his feelings. I think it's going to hurt his feelings a lot more knowing that you never liked them to begin with. Especially those people that were in good relationships at one point and then got bored, if you were to say. That's the only proper word I can use. You got bored at one point and you remain with that person because you feel sorry for them. That also says a lot about your character. I was just trying to be nice. No, you weren't. Not at all. Nice is you sitting down and having a one-on-one conversation, having a good old-fashioned central sit-down. That's being nice. We've talked about the good, the bad. We talked about the good when it comes to relationships. Because where there's good, there is bad. Where there is good, there is bad. We all know what an abusive relationship is, right? No, that's the thing. We all don't know what an abusive relationship is. And to this day, there are probably hundreds of thousands of people in this country that are currently in an abusive relationship of some form. Abuse comes in many forms: mental, physical, sexual, cyber. It's a heck of a thing. It's a heck of a ride. It's a heck of a thing. Let me tell you this: if you believe you are in an abusive relationship, leave. There's no if, buts, or ors. Don't second guess yourself. If you think you're in an abusive relationship, then leave. Then leave. And what I hear sometimes is that when people are in actual abusive relationships and the person acknowledges that the person that they're with is abusive, the only reason why they're still with them is because they actually love them. Like, the abuser could care less. The abuser will do whatever that person does to feel powerful in their own sick, twisted mind. Will do whatever is necessary to get that dirty satisfaction. But the abused will say, I know he's an abusive dirtbag, but the only reason why I'm with him is because I actually love him. I love him to death. I really do. Emotions. I tell you, emotions, love. That's another thing. Love. Love's going to get you killed. But pride's going to be the death of you, and you, and me, and you, and you. If you let it. But I remember sitting down having a conversation with one of my friends, and we were talking about drugs. We were talking about drugs, okay? Don't ask how that conversation started. Just know that we were talking about drugs. And we were talking about what's the most dangerous, what's the most addictive street drug as of now known to man. You might have been thinking crack cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, I don't know, Molly's, LSD. No. It's love. The most abusive, the most abused, would you even say abused? The most widely used and the most addictive drug out there is love. I can tell you, love, sure as heck, is addictive. Just the overwhelming feeling of warmth and happiness you experience when you're in love and being loved is addictive. It's, I tell you, the most addictive thing known to man is love. It really is. Like, go ahead, just think about it. Just think about it. You think street drugs are like addictive? Just think about love for a moment. How addicted are you? Because in a way, we're all addicts. All of us in this world are addicts. Your dog's an addict. Your cat's an addict. You're an addict. I'm an addict. Your grandmother's an addict. Your uncle is an addict. Everybody's an addict. I tell you, everybody loves it. Everybody loves it. And it's like drugs. With some people, you feel like you need it to survive. Because in a way, love keeps the world rotating. Love keeps people running. Love is the fuel that people put in the tanks in the morning, in the afternoons, and in the evenings. Love is love. Also, love is love. But let's also talk about one of the things that I find vastly more annoying than anything is when people in friendships or in relationships, loving relationships, or loving friendships, the person that you're dating or friends with act one way around you and act another way around a different group of people. For the people that have experienced this, know what I'm talking about. But listen, let me explain. But I know you guys probably already know what that means. What I mean by that is, you and your friend are together. You and your friend, I got a pen over here. Time for a puppet show. You and your friend are good friends. You guys have been good friends since middle school. You guys love each other, right? But you guys are buddies, right? You guys are buddies. You guys love each other, okay? And then how it usually happens is your friend finds, more friends. your friend finds more friends. And there's nothing wrong with that, but after a while, and this is not the case all the time, but after a while, these guys become good friends. And there's nothing wrong with having best friends, And I'm not, hopefully, you're not the type to get jealous. Which you're not. I hope not. But you're not the type to get jealous. But what I find to happen is, you guys are acting your type of way, but then once you guys get over here to these people, you act a whole nother way. Almost like they act like they don't know you. Or they act like you guys haven't been friends for the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And sometimes it almost feels like you're losing that person. It almost feels like that person is slowly drifting away. Which is the worst feeling, like I said. Nothing hurts more than having one of your friends that you've been with for the longest time drift away from you. No longer want to be in your life. No longer wants to be your friend. It's terrible. And I must ask the people that do participate in that act of acting one way with your friends and acting another way with another group of friends. Why'd you do it? I mean, listen, we all do it to an extent. Like how we act one way at school and we act one way at home. Let's admit, most of us don't act the way that we act at school at home. Let's be honest. And for the people that say, I don't, you kind of do. In some way, shape, or form. Even as it is, as minute as it is, as tiny as it is, you do. If that's, you don't talk at home, but you talk at school, you're acting different. If you're funny and loud and chattery and yada 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 at school, but you're not at home. You're loud and disruptive and you cuss and whatnot at school, but at home, you don't do that. I'll be the first one, not the first one, but I'll be one to admit that I do that too. I act one way at school, and I act a whole different way at home. Because it's just the truth. I'm being honest with you. Because how relationships work is honesty. All relationships are built on honesty. And the relationship I built with you guys so far has been built on honesty. Because I take you guys very serious. I do. I take all my viewers, all my subscribers very serious. I do. I really do. I don't just look at you as a way to get subscribers. I don't look at you as just a subscriber. I look at you as more than just a subscriber. I look at you as like a friend. I do. I look at you like I've known you my entire life. Maybe that will lead to my downfall. The fact that I'm willing to be friends with anybody. I could have just met you 30 minutes ago, and next thing you know, we're as thick as molasses. Because that's just the way I was programmed. I just love making other people happy. It feels good. It just feels good. Also, I've had, we're a couple weeks into school now, and I've had people come up from my school to me and like, wait, you're that guy from YouTube, aren't you? What is that? Talking that nonsense? Talking nonsense? I saw you, and I must tell you that your video has helped me. Your videos have helped me. I'm like, really? He's like, yes, your videos have helped me. I'm like, how so? Like, literally, man, like your ideas about getting out, making somebody's day, doing something nice. I did something, and I feel happy. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I just gave a kid $1 at lunch. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. He's like, I know it may be little, but that cheered me right up when I was feeling down. I'm like, okay, that's what I like to hear. And on a more serious note, I'm always open. I don't mind you guys DMing me and texting me and emailing me whenever you guys got questions or just want to talk. But there was this one case where there was a kid that DM'd me on Instagram. And it was like, hey, how you doing, man? You're doing good? And he's like, no, not really. Well, now I am, but I wasn't before. I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he's like, a while back, I wanted to take my own life. Like, what? I'm like, a little bit, like, confused, kind of like, unsure if this is like a joke or something. But then he's like, literally, I saw one of your videos. I saw your video. And I changed my mind. You ultimately saved my life. Like, what? And when I kid you not, he was pretty serious. He sent me pictures of his suicide letter. He sent me just this terrifying suicide letter. And he explained to me how it would work out, how it was terrible what that person was going through. But what made it all better in the end was knowing that legitimately, I kid you not, this has happened. Legitimately, that I have helped somebody. The first of many, I hope. They're the first of many. I'm saying they're the first of many I hope to help. And I don't do this for the fame. I don't do this for the glamour. I don't do this I do this to help. Because if there's anything I like doing more, it's helping. It's just the way my programming is. I like to help, and when I can, I will. And even 90% of the 90% of the time, even if you don't want my help, I'm going to try. As inconsiderate as it sounds. Because like I said, I love to help. Always, in any way. Because it feels good to help people. People, if you see somebody in an abusive relationship, don't be afraid to speak up. Do not be afraid to speak up at all. Don't be afraid. Because not only are you helping somebody, but in a way you're kind of helping yourself. You're helping yourself recognize an abusive relationship, so one day you do not turn into the person. Trust me, there's always a method to my madness. There's always a reason for my statements. And as poor as it may sound, as crappy as my takes may be, I mean them in the most sincere ways possible. The most polite, sincere, and serious as possible. I can tell you now that people, well, at least I'm at, take relationships for granted. Relationships are something you shouldn't take for granted. Friendships are something you shouldn't take for granted. Best friends forever, best friends for life. Bros, dudes, brothers, sisters, brothers. You shouldn't take them for granted. You shouldn't. Because there's just nothing to trifle with. I want to express that as much as possible. Do not play around with friends. Do not play around with loved ones. Relationships are fragile or delicate. They really are. They are. And a good one is rare. I'm not saying everything's perfect. ideal relationship is one where both parties or partners are comfortable with themselves and with the other person being together. Communication, honesty. Those are the things that make a perfect perfect relationship, you know? Think about it. Like, if you were to get into a relationship, what do you want in a relationship? Someone that cares about you, you know? Somebody that's willing to be honest with you. Somebody that's not going to hurt you physically or mentally. Somebody's not going to manipulate you. You know? Man, I tell you, relationships, love, it's all a heck of a thing. Gone on and made this video 30 minutes long. Never in my wildest dreams would I be thinking I would be making videos like this, but I'm thankful. All the positive feedback that I've been getting, it puts a smile on my face. Now, if this video does good, I will start making videos twice a week, because people do have a point when they're like, "Pete, I like your stuff so much, but why do you have to upload once a week?" My uploading schedule is the way it is because, well, you should watch episode 1 of Talking That Nonsense to realize why I do things the way I do. But this 31-minute long video is breaking tradition. Well, it seems like my time here has expired. Oh my god. I don't know, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to rock it. Then again, my name is Michael. Make sure you go out and do something you enjoy, because at the end of the day, the most important person is you. Be good people, people. Be good people, people. Be good people, people. Be good people, people. Be good people. Be good people, people. Be good people. Be good people.